This is a TalkStation original podcast.
This is Marlin Masters, a brand new podcast from the Carteret County News-Times, where we hear from the renowned captains of the Big Rock Blue Marlin Tournament. We talk about how they got their start, the big fish they've caught, and the ones that got away.
This episode with Alan Scibal of First Look is brought to you by Sanitary Restaurant in Morehead City, where the Big Rock began.
All right, we're here with Alan Scibal, affectionately known as Big Country by his peers. Right now, he's captain of a 60-foot weaver, First Look, out of Atlantic Beach. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Big Rock, I mean, this is the biggest tournament in our area, probably one of the biggest in the world. Does it feel different than the other ones when it comes around? Do you try to treat it the same?
No, I try to treat everything the same.
Sure.
We fish a lot of tournaments around, from the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, to Ocean City, Pirates Cove, Virginia Beach. Feel like if you put it up on a pedestal, sometimes you get a little too nervous, too stressed about it to really do your best work. So, it is my favorite tournament of the year, hometown tournament. But try not to build it too much off a pedestal, but also, try to make sure everything's ready to go.
Well, what makes it your favorite?
I'm a blue marlin fisherman. I like catching big blue marlins is what I've liked it since I was, I think I caught my first one when I was probably 15.
Oh, wow.
16. I actually caught the first one I ever caught was on the Carolina Princess, the headboat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we used to do the trolling trips for yellowfin tuna in the spring and wahoos in the fall, and we caught
Catching a blue marlin on a headboat.
Yeah, I've caught,
Man.
I think I caught 3 of them on there in a white marlin. We used to fish the Big Rock on that boat.
Oh,
fished
wow.
the Big Rock 3 years on that thing.
So did you grow up fishing offshore, or?
Yeah, Dad had a 23 Mako that kind of cut my teeth on him. When I was in high school, we got a 26-foot catamaran, power cat, Glacier Bay, and me and my buddies would take it, offshore once Dad got comfortable with me using it, which was about 14.
Oh, wow.
And then I was working for the Carolina Princess in the afternoons, cleaning fish, pushing ice, and got to know a lot of the charter guys and just figured that would be a good way to get into it. Dad kind of got me rigged up with Woo Woo Harker. He used to own and run the Carolina Princess, one of my mentors, kind of almost a second dad growing up through high school. Spent a lot of days on the ocean and a lot of evenings in the fish house cleaning.
That's not easy work.
Tunas. Yeah, it was tough. My back's paying for it a little bit now, lifting all the ice and stuff, but it was fun. That's kind of got me in the door with the charter fishing side of it. I remember Dad having to drop me off at work in the mornings before I could drive. So,
well, I mean, I'm sure looking back, that's a sort of an earn your stripes period of your life when it comes to fishing.
I think anybody who ever works on any kind of trolling boat needs to spend at least one summer on a headboat, because you see it all on there.
Yeah.
You learn how to untangle stuff and deal with everybody, and it's a cool experience.
When did you realize you wanted to be a boat captain?
Well, I mean, I always kind of wanted to do it, but professionally, I went to NC State, graduated there in 2006, and with the intention of going to be an optometrist like my dad.
Oh, wow.
And that didn't work out. I did some internships and stuff, and was actually in Florida working on a boat for the winter, and Dale Britt on the Sensation called me and said he had a job opening and didn't know if I was interested, and I really didn't like the private boat. I was 22, 23, and private boating's fine, but you didn't get to fish a whole lot on this particular program. So the opportunity to live at home and go fishing 130, 40, 50 days a year, brought me back, and I think I was on there for 9 or 10 years.
Wow. Well, Dale's a good one to work with, too.
Yeah. He's a great guy. Still good friends of mine, and we talk a lot. Obviously, we're fishing around each other all the time. So
it's cool to. Well, that's the number one hull, right? From Jarrett Bay.
Number one. Yep.
Yeah. That's a boat name people know.
Oh, and, it's been around a long time.
Wow, from almost optometrist to boat captain, that's quite a zag.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a lot about with captains about there's a moment in their life where they have to kind of make that choice, left or right, and what what was it about fishing that called to you so strongly?
Well, I mean, I always, still do love to go offshore fishing, and you know how it is coming out of college, and you can keep going in school, you can try to find something else. I had a biology degree, so it was either find a lab job somewhere or go back to school, and I just, like I said, did some internships and other things, and it did not. Just sitting in an office all day didn't jump at me, and then one of the top charter boat positions in Morehead comes available, and going out of college making what you do on there, which is not a lot, but it's enough, more than most people coming out of college would make.
What'd your family think?
Dad was pretty upset. Not upset.
No, but I mean, we get it. You don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Sure.
You spent 4 years in college and you're gonna go fishing for the rest of your life. And but it's cool. They live in downtown Morehead, so they used to come walk down and see all the fishing, and he always calls me one of the fishing story, and they're cool with it now.
Oh, say it's worked out.
Yeah. We've gotten over that hump. So.
Well, it is hard, especially explaining to people who may not understand the culture. It does feel like you're just going off to fish, but it's much more than that. The preparation that goes into sport fishing, the pressure in these tournaments. There's a lot that goes into it.
There is a lot, and I always tell people the fishing is the bonus part.
Sure.
These boats. My boss Todd Porterfield, super cool guy. I've been with him for 6 years now, and he gets it. I mean, he basically says I bought a $2.5 million condo, and I just go beat it to death and spray it with salt water,
right,
and hope nothing breaks. He understands the maintenance side of it, which is nice. But it is expensive, and it's fixing your days off for fixing broke stuff. So
you're talking about you've been with First Look for 6 years?
Yep, First Look.
How did y'all get connected?
Actually, it was a cold call. He used to fish with another previous employer, the Clyde Bailey on the Diamond Girl. I worked on that boat through college before I started with Dale, and Todd used to fish with him during the Big Rock tournament and a couple other tournaments, and he decided to get a boat himself. I was working on the shifting gears at that point for Terry Labonte, and he just came to me and said, "I heard you were the guy I wanted," and we talked, and it's kind of one of those leap of faith. Terry still is a good friend, great employer, and having to just say, look, here's what I've got. This guy wants to travel, wants to fish more tournaments, just do a little bit more. And then, plus he's going to offer me more money. And he said, you need to go take that job. That sounds like something worthwhile. So 6.5 years, it'll be 7 years in October. Here we are.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you've been with them. So 61st Big Rock, and then now will be 67th with these guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
All run together.
Yeah. No, I get it. You talked about being there with Terry Labonte. I think in the last year with him, y'all placed second in the release division. So you certainly know what you're doing with these tournaments.
Yeah, that was a fun year.
Yeah, and we were we talked about how the talent takes you where you go, and sometimes even if you're not a captain, you're on a crew, or you're maybe going up to Bermuda. Somebody needs an extra body, and
absolutely,
you were part of the Builder's Choice crew that
I fished with him.
Caught a pretty sizable fish,
911
pounder to win Pirates Cove.
Yep.
That's a big fish, man.
That was one I know I won't forget. I know Brent won't forget it. It was a lot going on in a real short time. We caught that fish fairly quick, and we had some issues with the gaff stuff, and took us forever to get them in the boat. But it all worked out in the end.
I'll say how many were you on the boat?
Let's see here, 3. I think it was 5 of us.
So that's not a lot, man. Yeah. Especially when one's tuckered out from the fight. Maybe
it was teamwork for sure.
Did you have to bring it over, or?
Well, we fit through the door.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Barely. But we got her in there.
We got to start making these transom doors a little bit bigger, because some of these fish out here are monsters.
Yeah. It was It was a cool day for sure.
Yeah.
Cool
Did you
week.
know right then that was a big fish?
Yeah. I'd heard Brent hollering from the bridge that it was a big one, and I think if I remember correctly, they had caught one, a smaller one in the Big Rock that year or something, and Harris was in the chair, and he said, "You sure that's big enough? You sure he's going to make it?" And he popped up there. I
think it'll pass.
Eyes were as big as dinner plates. He said, "Okay, all right." So,
And just for you're talking about Harris Huddle family there.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was no question after that.
yeah, no, that was, and then it jumped, and it was, everybody knew it was a different kind of fight then.
Wow.
We weren't going for the release.
For sure. Is that the biggest fish that you've been?
Yep, that's the biggest one I've weighed for sure.
Yeah.
I've caught a couple of marlins that were big, but I don't,
Sure.
until you put them on the scale, you can't.
Right.
say what they get above about 600-700 pounds. They're just big till you hang them up.
Yeah.
So.
Do the ones that you do those memories stick with you? The reason I ask is because we talk to a lot of athletes, and usually it's the ones that got away or the moments that got away that tend to stick in the memory.
Yeah.
How does that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always remember the ones we lost. I lost one on Saturday that during the Swansboro tournament that pulled the gaff out.
If you had to guess,
it really wasn't that big of. I mean, it was 500 or 600 pounder.
Sure.
But it wasn't ready. I've talked to everybody I know about what we could have done, should have done different, and at the end of the day, everybody's like, "Well, I believe I would have done the same thing." You knowing the end result, would you have done something different? Maybe, but if you don't know the end result, you just do what you know, and hopefully we got that out of our system before next week.
Right.
We got a dry run, but they're powerful critters.
Did y'all fish the Hatteras Village offshore?
We did. Yep, we did. We had it was okay week for us. We caught a couple on the last day, but nothing weighable.
We've heard that the season feels like it's running a little bit behind.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. I mean, with all the technology and stuff, you can go out there, and I feel like 12 months out of the year, you have an opportunity out of Morehead for a blue marlin. Obviously, the month of May, I wouldn't want to be fishing anywhere else in the world. It's world class stuff as far as the blue marlin goes, and but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's behind, and then somebody goes and catches 6.
And proves that maybe not so much. Yeah. Well, you touched on it just a second ago, the technology, and really the last decade, it's taken off in ways that, I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted what it would be like to have an omnidirectional sonar that looks out 1,200 feet, 2,000 feet from the boat. I mean, has it been unreal sort of watching these changes hit the sport?
It has. That is, I always look at it, like you said, the last decade. It might not be fishing technology, but just improvements on a boat.
Right.
10 years ago, it was, if you were looking to buy a boat, it was, does it have a mezzanine? When they had just the old boxes that you lifted up that you had to jump up to sit on. Then it was, does it have a mezzanine? No. Okay, I want a boat with a mezzanine. Then it was the Seakeeper. Does it have a Seakeeper? No. Okay, I don't want that one. Now it's, if you're looking to buy a boat, I mean, you can put an Omni in a boat, but it's one more piece of more money, more work you have to do. But I feel like that's the new thing. Does it have an Omni? Yes. Okay. Well, you're still in my hunt, or still looking at that boat.
And then the speed of these boats nowadays is unreal. I mean,
wild.
You can get from here to there in a blink. I mean, you've got people that are fishing that are going to fish in the Big Rock that are coming up from Oak Island. They're coming over from Hatteras, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. I mean, the boat I run now, we're 27 and a half knots, 28 knots honest, and that's a slower, run of the mill.
But still, compared,
ago,
yeah.
You go 27 knots, holy cow. Hold your hat.
It's
a lot. And some of them now, are going 40, 50 knots, and it's wild.
Do y'all travel? You go down the Bahamas?
We do. We do a lot of winter traveling.
How many days of fishing are you doing out of the year, you think?
Oh, man. Over 100, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Todd he retired a couple years ago, so he's ready to go. We fish pretty much every pretty day that he's around, which is most every day. So we normally leave for the Bahamas. This year we got down there, I left here December the 18th, and we got home on May the 3rd, and we went to Mexico for a month in the middle. The year before that, or 2 years before that, we did the Dominican Republic for a couple months, and the Bahamas for a month, then Bermuda that summer. So it's go. I mean, we were averaging a little over 1,200 hours a year on the boat.
You've been a part of some big catches and great tournament moments, but is there something else that defines a good day offshore for y'all?
Any day you go out and come back and don't break anything.
That's a good day.
If you catch a fish, that's
a bonus, yeah.
But if it, you remember your good days, try to forget your bad days. But any day offshore is a good day, especially if it's calm, catch a few fish, everybody has a good time. That's the cool thing about the boat that I'm on now, First Look, and really all of them I've been on. I shouldn't say isolated this one boat, but I always try to surround myself with people who genuinely can have a good time. I mean, I've been on boats with people who might not, a little negative Nancy or something like that, kind of bring the whole mood down. And
well, that was my next question, was having been a part of many crews and been captain for a few, what makes a good crew?
I really think, you go on a boat, just the calmness and we use the headsets like a film crew would use, so everybody, I can talk to people in the cockpit just like we're talking right now. There's no yelling, and especially when people have been together, same crew. My mate AJ, he does a great job, and he knows what I'm going to do. I know what he's going to do, so that we don't have to talk about every little thing. Which, fighting a fish, one guy gets excited and starts raising his voice, then the whole tension kind of gets up and up and up. So we try to keep everything very calm and just level playing field, not get too excited in the moment. Wait till it's all over with, and then you can start hooting, hollering, high fiving, and all the rest of it.
I think we buried the lead here. Where does Big Country come from?
Yeah,
Big Country. That's
now he's in the studio with us. We should say you're a tall guy.
I wish it was a
good story.
A great story. It is a good story. We were was working. I guess I would have been working for Dale. No, I was working for Clyde on the Diamond Girl. We were at the Hatteras Marlin Club throwing horseshoes, which is a huge event there. They got 2 big horseshoe pits set up that I happen to enjoy quite a bit. And we were in a point of a pretty heated match with Randy Gregory, the weighmaster. And we may or may not have had a couple of cold beers. And I was throwing for a pretty important point to win or whatever, and he yelled Big Country for whatever reason right in my backswing, and the horseshoe went about 4 feet in front of me, and everybody fell on the ground laughing. And the next morning, Josh Stafford, he came down my bunker in there about 6:30, and we'd stayed up a little later than we probably should have, and he's beating on my door just hollering Big Country, and if I woke up, went outside, and from then on it was Big Country, whatever.
Stuck.
Yeah, it's funny. Wherever we go, and with me and my wife will go on vacation. Like my honeymoon, for example, we go to the Bahamas.
Are people yelling it out?
and the first, so we went to Pete's Pub, a little bar down there, and have lunch. And the first person I meet or saw there, it's like, "Hey, Big Country, what's happening?" Didn't know my real name. Most people don't know. I'd say it's 50-50 whether you know my real name's Alan or not, But it was, she said, hey, she's a joke, ongoing joke with us. She can always, anywhere you go in the world, somebody's going to call you Big Country before we get home.
At this point, she's Mrs. Big Country, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. My daughter has got when she was born, she got one of the little onesies that says Little Country.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you don't get to choose your nickname, but that's not a bad one as it goes.
It could be worse. I've been called worse.
Yeah.
How rude by Randy to yell out on the backswing.
Yeah, we're still trying to get over that.
Well, this is the same guy that wears the NC State cap when Michael Jordan comes out on his, so he likes to push it a little
Randy's
bit.
a good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
We throw a lot of horseshoes during that Marlin Club.
Nice.
Well, the sport fishing community and Big Rock in general is a real tight knit one. I mean, you just talked about the ability to go to the Bahamas, go to Bermuda, and be recognized, and that's what the community is like. And I feel like Big Rock captures that in a way that, I mean, is that special to the tournament? or is that the case with all of them where you kind of have that camaraderie with each other?
Well, I think Todd, my boss now, his wife Jan, puts it best on the traveling. She says she calls us a traveling band of gypsies. It's because, it's the same. You get the same 40 or 50 boats. You
Sure.
just move. Last week was Hatteras. This week's Moorhead. There's a tournament in Wrightsville Beach this week. Some of us will be down there. Then it's back to the Big Rock. Then it's back to Hatteras. But it's the same people, just a different venue on a lot of them. Then you go, even more so, you go internationally. It seemed like there was quite a few boats from North Carolina in the Abacos this winter, which is nice. You kind of have a sense of home, but away from home.
And say, does it feel good to be part of that?
It does. It feels great. But there is something special, I always think, about the Big Rock, just because it's a big tournament. It's in your backyard. I was lucky enough to win the Ocean City White Marlin tournament in 2012. T. Harris, Harris Marine, was the captain.
Oh, wow.
Me and Thomas Bennett were the mates on the boat. And, the next year I got lucky and hung a second place fish with Dale in the Big Rock. And it was, I always tell people, it was way cooler to hang that second place Blue Marlin here at home than it was. I didn't know a lot of people in Ocean City.
Sure.
I didn't have the hometown crowd cheering me on.
And that would have been the old way station where it was
that was down by
real tight down
into the
there.
water.
Yeah.
So,
People up on the stairwell up on the right side, and
they were packed up. And it was a pretty short fish, and when we put it on deck, we were all kind of, we might have messed up here first day of the tournament, but very fat, and it did make weight, 424, 423, something like that. But once again, it was a slow year for the tournament. There was only one other qualifier caught. Buddy Hooper on the Powders Fever beat us out on the last day.
Oh, that's right.
So,
what's that like? I mean, we hear backing into that way station is as close as you might feel to a rock star in your life.
It's great. You got people you have no idea. They're all hooting and hollering. They want to see big fish. You got a big fish.
Yeah.
You figure just for round numbers, 300 boats fishing, and you look, there's, on a good year might be 10 fish weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you look at your percentages there of what it is to do that, and then to experience that. You care who you are. If you're a competitor and you go down there and you watch somebody weigh a fish in, you feel that excitement, feel the energy. You're thinking, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
I mean, there's thousands of people on the dock. There's the TV now is hoisted up 50 feet, and people are watching all over the world and listening on Big Rock Radio and waiting for Randy to yell out that weight and see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a moment.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to do it this year.
I was going to say, this will be now, are you all going to do Cape Fear next week?
We are not. No.
Okay. The weather's kind of off.
Yeah, but they've opened up the tournament for Sunday, so tomorrow looks good and Sunday looks good. I hope they get some participation. We had some other obligations months ago, so we were kind of planning on sit this one out, but we'll be obviously do the Big Rock and the rest of the Governor's Cup series. So
I know,
Billfish series.
Right. It's changed a little bit, but same. I know a lot of people, a lot of boats, because of just a lack of availability, end up making themselves available for KWLA. Is that something that First Look will do?
We'll do that. My wife and a couple of her friends and business partner of my boss is his wife. They're friends. It's a bunch of local girls.
Yeah.
They have a good time.
It's a fun experience.
It is. It's a long day.
Does she enjoy getting out there and seeing what she can do?
Women on the boat. And they get to go one day a year. They live it up.
Yeah, sure. They're gonna make sure.
Glad to see it come, but not sad when they walk off the boat if they can walk.
That's right.
So, but they enjoy it. My wife, she likes to sleep. Just no kids.
Just I'll be in the cabin for the day.
Just, diesel engine. She lay up there on the bridge. And,
that's great.
But they have fun. Always a good time.
Well, be a boat captain is you pretty much gotta love it because it's not exactly an easy life. You're not doing banker's hours. The schedule is wild. How do you try to balance life with being a captain? Starlink helps a lot. Being able to talk to anybody if
if she had my wife when we're traveling or something, if she has an issue. A good network of friends that are at home that aren't necessarily. We live in a good neighborhood with lots of, kids and parents is about the same age as us, so we have a pretty tight knit group there that are able to help out if she needs a hand around the house or something. As far as fishing, we got her. Both my parents and her parents live in town, so they take help with kids to the school and after school and that kind of stuff. But Jenna's pretty used to it. I mean, we started dating in 2010 or something like 9 or 10, and I was doing that here. I mean, I used to leave right around the 1st of January and go to the Dominican Republic for 4 months fishing on the Delta Dawn with Thomas Bennett was running the boat, Pete Manuel's boat. But we used to charter fish every day down there. We'd fish 50. I'd be gone for 60-ish days, and we'd fish 47 to 50 days a year down there. So she was used to. That was before.
She came into it knowing.
That was before the Starlink and all that. So
sure.
When international plans on your phone were ungodly amounts of money, so we would, we might go a day or two without talking.
Yeah.
But she's kind of, I guess, used to it. I don't know. She might have a whole different opinion on it.
Right. We brought her in here.
But it is tough. I mean, especially now my daughter's about 4. She turned 4 in December. So, it's getting to a point it's hard for me to miss some of that stuff. But Todd's good. He's when we're traveling, we try to do, for me and my crew, 3 weeks away and 1 week home, or your family gets to come down wherever we're at. So we do a couple family trips to the Bahamas, which is, certainly over the top.
It's a fun perk. Yeah.
But sometimes they forget that they get to go to the Bahamas, and still complain about it.
Right.
But it's tough. It really is. Just being away from that long and trying to mend problems from 600, 700 miles away can be tough. But
a lot of the captains tell us once the kids get older and they're in sports or band or dance, you just learn to sacrifice sleep, right?
That's learn that and charter boating, just fishing 10, 20, 30 days in a row. Don't care if I'm the best man in your wedding. Ooh. All right, I'll try to stay awake.
Right.
I hope it's an early one, but it can't be too early because I got to work.
It's definitely something you got to love to do.
Yeah, you do. And like any job, I tell people, you got the best job in the world. It's like any other job. There's some great days, but there's also some days that you'd rather stay in the bed.
That cubicle doesn't look so bad there on some of those days.
Exactly.
Well, cool. Well, Big Rock is on its way, and it's going to be another big one, 67th annual. There's going to be millions of dollars on the line again, and are you what kind of preparation?
We try to prep everything during the winter months when we're in the boatyard doing maintenance.
So y'all are ready to go?
Yeah, we're pretty much ready.
Okay.
We kind of take these first few tournaments as not a warm-up per se, because we fish every tournament just as hard, whether it's 20 boats or 220 boats. You might give an extra look over your tackle and stuff, but we fish pretty simple. Not a whole lot of hooks in the water. A lot of pitch bait stuff.
Are y'all gonna have the heavy stuff in there? You said you wanted to catch the big blues.
Oh yeah. We gear up for elephants. We use elephant guns.
Sure.
We don't. The one we hooked last weekend was on 50 or 80 pound.
Oh wow! And
it was, we had our opportunity, but it was on a 50 class reel. But yeah, we're hopefully we've got big enough stuff.
Tell us a little bit about your role in conservation and the Tag a Giant program you've been involved in.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being with Dale Britt.
That was fun. We did a lot of that. Met a lot of cool people. Still, Charles Perry's probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. He's been world-renowned wireman, gaff man, world record chaser. I actually called him yesterday about that fish that we lost this weekend to see what I did wrong. And he was actually the mate on the shifting gears. He still fishes the tournaments with the shifting gears.
Oh, wow.
But he was my mate when we run second place in the release division.
Yeah, his name comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Charles he's got more stories than you have time to listen to. But Tag Giant's cool. It was fun. We a lot of big fish. Neat to watch all the research come back. You put these tags out that are $5,000-$10,000 a piece, and just see where these fish go and what they do. It was a cool experience with a little bit of biology background.
Oh, for sure.
From school, it was neat to watch. Dr. Andre, we called him Dr. Dre. And, Robbie,
as you should.
Robbie Shallert, he's they're two good people. Barb, she's a handful. She's neat individual, smart. I'll never forget one day we were fishing and she saw a bird, or it may have been a tuna bust or something, and Dale's up there. She said, "Dale, you need to turn that way. That's which way that school's moving." Okay. He wheels over there, and 10 seconds later we had a bite. And that was cool to me. That was before Omni or any of that. It was just her knowing tuna's as good as anybody knows a bluefin tuna.
Wow.
How about that?
But yeah, that was a cool. I think we did 9 or 10 seasons of that. I did anyway. But
Is that Dr. Barbara Block?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did the story on Tag a Giant.
Yeah.
She is a legend.
She is full fireball.
Yeah, yeah.
You better be ready.
Yeah.
She will let you know if you're doing it right, and she will let you know if you're doing it wrong.
For sure. Well, Big Rock coming up. We hope to see First Look coming back down the slip and backing in with something big, and someone's going to walk away with some prize money, and we hope everyone stays safe. And
well, I certainly do appreciate you guys having me, and I don't know. I hope to see the First Look going backwards in the slip as well.
Just from a different perspective. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us, Alan.
Thank you.